To millions of viewers, Savannah Guthrie has long been the polished co-anchor of NBC's morning show, a steady presence delivering headlines with warmth, intelligence, and calm authority. For more than a decade, she has interviewed presidents, covered historic events, and shared personal stories about motherhood and resilience. But imagine if behind that confident smile there existed a secret life, stretching back more than 30 years. A life carefully hidden from colleagues, viewers, and even family. Now, with her elderly mother missing under mysterious circumstances, that buried past is suddenly resurfacing, threatening to rewrite everything people thought they knew about her. The disappearance that started it all. The chain of events began on a foggy morning in Tucson, Arizona. Savannah and her siblings had turned a rented house near their mother's empty property into a makeshift command center. Their 84-year-old mother had vanished 10 days earlier, leaving investigators puzzled and the family desperate for answers. Yellow crime scene tape fluttered around the quiet ranch-style home while volunteers searched the desert. There had been troubling signs. Blood on the porch, a silent pacemaker signal, and unanswered ransom demands involving cryptocurrency. Each passing day without news weighed heavily on the family as law enforcement struggled to uncover even the smallest lead. A phone call that changed everything. Then, just before 9 in the morning, Savannah's personal phone rang. Expecting an update from investigators, she stepped outside to answer it. Instead, a calm, but urgent female voice introduced herself, with a name Savannah hadn't heard spoken publicly in decades: Elena. According to people close to the family who overheard fragments of the conversation, Savannah's reaction was immediate shock. Elena claimed the disappearance was connected to a past Savannah had never revealed. She mentioned precise dates from the early 1990s, secret meeting places in Tucson, and even referenced a small locket Savannah had once given her. A secret revealed to family. After ending the call, Savannah returned inside looking shaken. She gathered her siblings for a private conversation, asking everyone else, including investigators, to step away. What she revealed stunned them. For 3 decades, she had kept a deeply personal chapter of her life hidden from almost everyone. The roots of that secret reached back to her teenage years in Tucson, a time when she was still trying to understand who she was, beyond the expectations placed upon her by family and community. That hidden identity, she admitted, was tied directly to the mysterious woman who had just called. Growing up under expectations, Savannah's childhood had been defined by discipline and determination. After her father's death when she was a teenager, her mother became the family's unwavering pillar. She raised Savannah and her siblings with strong values, emphasizing resilience and independence. The message was clear: stay strong, achieve your goals, and never let hardship slow you down. Savannah thrived under those expectations. She excelled in school, joined the debate team, and eventually attended the University of Arizona. To everyone around her, she appeared confident and focused on a bright professional future. Meeting the woman who changed everything, but during her late teens, Savannah felt a quiet restlessness. She wanted a place where she could explore who she truly was, beyond academic success and family duty. That search led her to a small underground youth gathering in Tucson during the late 1980s. The group was organized by Elena Ramirez, a young activist and artist known for creating spaces where teenagers could discuss identity, creativity, and social issues freely. Elena was bold and charismatic, unafraid to challenge conservative norms. When Savannah attended one of those meetings, she felt an immediate connection, the birth of an alter ego. Over time, Savannah and Elena became close friends. Their conversations stretched late into the night about art, politics, identity, and dreams for the future. Eventually, their relationship deepened into something more personal.
Because the environment around them felt judgmental and restrictive, Savannah created an alter ego using her middle name, Clark. Under that name, she wrote poetry, attended rallies, and explored a life she felt she couldn't openly live. Clark was freer, braver, and less concerned with expectations than the ambitious student everyone else saw. Living two lives, even after leaving Tucson for college and later law school, Savannah maintained that second world. Family trips home occasionally doubled as quiet reunions with Elena and their old circle of friends. While her professional career grew, first in law and eventually in journalism, this hidden identity remained tucked away. Her mother believed Savannah's visits were focused on work or studies. In reality, they sometimes included Knight's Fill.
Ed with art, activism, and conversations about a different version of life. The two worlds rarely overlapped, and Savannah worked carefully to keep them separate. When the past returns, now, decades later, the secret world she once sealed away was resurfacing. Elena's phone call forced Savannah to confront memories she had long tried to keep private. Shortly after the conversation, Elena arrived in Tucson under the guidance of federal investigators. When Savannah saw her again after so many years, emotions flooded back instantly. The reunion was quiet but powerful. Two people who had shared an important chapter of life, finally standing face to face again. For the first time in years, Savannah allowed herself to acknowledge that hidden part of her history. A new lead in the investigation. Elena did not come empty-handed. She brought an envelope filled with old photographs, letters, and notes from the activist circles they once belonged to. Among the papers was a handwritten list of names connected to their activities decades earlier. One name had been circled in red, Ricky Torres. According to Elena, he had once been part of their group, but later drifted into more extreme political movements. Investigators quickly began reviewing records and discovered that someone with his name had recently appeared in Tucson records. A possible connection emerges. Authorities learned that Torres had largely disappeared from public life years ago, but a recent identification record suggested he had quietly returned to the area. A neighbor living near Savannah's mother's home also reported seeing a man matching his description in the neighborhood 2 weeks before the disappearance. The information wasn't enough to confirm involvement, but it offered investigators something they had lacked for days, a potential lead. Suddenly, the case was no longer standing still. Facing the truth. That evening, Savannah stepped outside into the cooling desert air. The mountains were turning purple as the sun slipped away behind them. Elena joined her on the porch, and the two stood together in silence for a long time. Years of secrets hung between them. Finally, Elena gently told her she no longer needed to hide who she had been. Savannah, overwhelmed by the weight of everything, her mother's disappearance, the resurfacing memories, and the possibility that her past might somehow be connected, began to cry quietly, a story still unfolding. For Savannah, the situation had become more than a search for answers. It was also a moment of personal reckoning. The person she once called Clark had never truly disappeared. She had simply been pushed aside while Savannah built a public life. Now both identities existed together again, shaped by decades of growth and change. Whether the past truly held the key to solving her mother's disappearance remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. The story was far from over. Outro, secrets, questions, and the road ahead. As investigators continue following the new lead, many questions remain unanswered. Could an old connection from a youthful activist circle really be linked to a present-day disappearance? Or is the resurfacing of Savannah's hidden past simply an unexpected coincidence during a difficult family crisis? Whatever the truth may be, the events unfolding in Tucson have already transformed the narrative surrounding the well-known journalist. The coming days may reveal
whether the secrets of decades past will ultimately help bring closure, and perhaps even bring her mother home.